Facebook, YouTube, quiet Starbucks. I'm at a quiet Starbucks. All right, okay. Oh, just got a little loud. All right, the topic of the message is something that's been, kind of meditating in my mind. That's very important for y'all to understand about love. People love. The topic of this message is the reality of desire to discover. Well, love, desire to discover. Now, the thing is, it's so, interesting, how people, how people complain about people judging them, and, saying that, well, you think that I'm a bad person or good person or this kind of person, that kind of person, and people complain about that we do not more likely expand our viewpoint in discovering the kind of person that people are. And, a lot of people are complaining about people that are not really trying to discover, a individual. Like I told people, the rules of humanity, of reality of humanity, the rules are that that people have negative and positive in them. That's the rules. So therefore, if you see something negative or positive from that person, you have no right to say, ooh, you're lesser than a human being or something like that, No, you don't have no right to do that. But you supposed to understand that you have a right to discover what kind of individual an individual is, Everybody has a perspective of how they look at each other, And is not, or the second rule of every human being is the ideal of DNA. DNA is the ideal that everyone is supposed to be different from each other. We're supposed to be different. So therefore, if I do something different than you, that is supposed to be the ideal response of the individual. You know what I'm saying? That people like, oh, I don't like how this person acts, or I don't like how different this person is. Like, what King David says, God fearfully and wonderfully made and created us different as individuals through the print of our body. You know what I'm saying? Fingerprint, footprint, every print on our body says we're different. Our print says we are different. That a human being has to understand to not bring a judgment of a type of person all the way in. But the idea of what we're supposed to understand is this thing is supposed to be about discovering, more likely discovering the unknown of the what is unknown concerning the individual that you see or you hear about. The thing is, you have a right to discover what kind of person that person really is. Yes, people might be portraying this person to be the most worst person in the whole wide world, terrible person, like, Hitler. Let's say Hitler. Do we think Hitler is the most evil person in the whole wide world? Well, yeah, according to media, and yeah, we will think so. But have you met Hitler? Have you talked to Hitler and talked to him and see what he likes and what he don't like and how his philosophy and how he see life? I mean, I know he wrote a lot of, things concerning, his viewpoint, his spectrum of life. We can say that he's the most evilest person in the world. But will that be the true result of it? There's good. God created good in every human being. I mean, Hitler was good to people, You know what I'm saying? He may not be good to a lot of people, but he's good to certain people. So therefore, that there's goodness in him, and it's just that his acts of evil is more likely magnified more than his good things that he did good to certain people. With that understanding or that idea, we have no right to we have a right to judge somebody and say that they're a bad person, say they're a terrible person, but we still have a right to be wrong, because our assessment of the individual, that we didn't get all the detailed informations of the kind of person that they are. We didn't get all the details of everything, and that's the beautiful thing I love about understanding. It's all about seeing things detail to detail to detail to every aspect of what it's looking at. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, when you see the details of, like I say, the handprints and the fingerprints, because in the handprints and fingerprints you have to get a telescope to zoom in to see the details. And the thing is, with that idea, understanding that if we have to see look at our footprints or fingerprints and details, that we should be looking at every individual as well as the details of the kind of person that they are, concerning their personality and characteristics, to have a better assessment of what kind of person that person is. And that only discovery can solve that. Yeah. Only discovery can solve that principle. But now here's the thing, what I love about, now I'm going to get to one of my favorite favorite movies that I come to love was Indiana Jones. Now, Indiana Jones was this professor, or I think something like that, big time teacher in the university, that he taught about history of ancient art and all that kind of stuff. But Indiana Jones did more than beyond what a teacher will do. He's tired of talking about treasures. He wants to go find a treasure. Yeah. Boring talking about it. Let's go find it. But now so Indiana Jones, y'all know, to see the movies, he will go through himself. Now, this is the important part you got to realize, that Indiana Jones will risk his life to find what he's looking for. I repeat again, he will risk his life to find out what he's looking for. He will take a risk in order to discover. You're gonna find out something about love here. He will take a risk. He will risk getting ran over by that big boulder, y'all see, and he will risk of falling in a hole of a booby trap full of snakes in a pit. He will risk to, fall into, some that shoot arrows out of nowhere. All the stuff, booby traps that happen when you in discovery to try to find a treasure. And he's willing to go to that danger to do that. Now, why I'm telling you about Indiana Jones? Well, the thing is, and like the end of the movie, Indiana Jones find what he's looking for. And unfortunately, in circumstances, something happens that he loses. But here's the thing, what the ideal I want you to get out of it. See, here's the ideal of why people don't want to love, because it's the unknown of discovery. They're scared of, being hurt. They're scared of someone thinking something about them. They're afraid of what people look at them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. If you see Indiana Jones and knew his adventures and met Indiana Jones, you would have thought he was a crazy fool to go through all that danger to find, a treasure. You know what I'm saying? You would think Indiana Jones was a crazy madman. Why would you risk yourself to be, killed and, kidnapped or, whatever, to find a treasure. Well, here's the thing about love, that who took the risk and who put the risk and, got nailed in his wrist to try to discover something for humanity. Well, yes, Jesus Christ. He's the guy, kind of like an ideal. And people don't really look at the crucifixion that way as Indiana Jones. He put himself in harm's way to risk to discover something. Well, not really discover something, but for us to discover something. Because Jesus taught this to me in that frame of way, that he willing to take a risk, to go through betrayal, go through humiliation, go through being disrespected, slapped in the face, go through, being mocked, being laughed at, being humiliated, being ridiculed, being, beaten and bruised, 39 lashes, crown of thorns, carrying the cross, from a long path, through to Jerusalem, to all the way to Golgotha. He was willing to go through this risk. In his wrist, they nailed him in his feet and his wrist for us. Now, for what? For him to discover something, or for us to discover something? Well, here's the thing. I learned, and God showed me, Jesus showed me, that when he was lifted up on the cross, he was at a proper position to see something. When you're at a high place, a proper high place in life, you can see a lot of things. And whatever he really more likely discovered something. He discovered a revelation. Because, he's the light of the world. Light will always reveal a revelation. And the revelation that he revealed on the cross, that, that we need to understand, and people need to understand about people that do bad and evil and wicked and mean things at people. He discovered this revelation that's supposed to be a treasure. It's supposed to be a treasure, but those that, are caught up in the earth system, world system, will not see this as a treasure. But those that, got the light of Christ in them will see this treasure. And this treasure called, Father, forgive them, forgiveness, for they know not what they do. And the reason why he said, forgive them, for they know not what they watch this, they know not. That means unknown. Unknown. They did not discover what's within inside themselves, because they were in darkness. But the light was in a high place that identified the problem of the individual. And the problem of the individual was their heart. Their heart was in a bad condition. And only a way you can solve a heart in a bad condition is forgiveness. Yes, forgiveness, as Jesus said in Matthew 5:4, love your enemies, bless those that curse you, pray for them that spitefully use you, because this is an act of love concerning, when you do that, you will discover a treasure that is greater than anything that exists on this earth, that only came from heaven, because heaven truly knows what treasures are all about, not the earth. As you can see, all the destruction for temporal things, trying to be better than other people and trample over people to become better. The world does not know what love is. But the thing is, he discovered in a high place of what was love is. And that's to discover that humanity needs a light, to shine to the darkness of people that are doing wrong and doing bad things, because they have a heart condition. And only this bad heart condition can only require love, because that's why God is love. And that's what we're supposed to love them and show the love. And only that love can save them from the heart condition that they're struggling with. And that's the discovery that love is supposed to do, that we need to do in our lives to show really true love to them. All right, that's the message. I hope you give people this